today, so today is the 24th of May, all right, and we are going to do a quick market update for the week ahead, bearing in mind that Monday is a holiday for the US exchanges, all right. But just very quickly, what are the probabilities that are staring us in the face now with regards to the outlook? We're just going to cover 5 charts today. Okay, starting off with the Nasdaq. As you can see here, over the last, I would say 2 weeks, all right, or the last week or so, Nasdaq is still struggling to break a new high. All right, we have a what many would call a sideways consolidation that has started. And unless this 22,978.1.5 level breaks, where we can then see new highs, the primary patterns that tend to play out would usually be either a sell down to a consolidated support or bottom, all right, which we would find somewhere between this 28600 level to the 28760 level. All right. Now, with regards to the other potential pattern, what happens very often in the market is you have this blue line here, so you have this sideways consolidation pattern here. All right, and you can see it would have get tighter and tighter like a coiled spring, and then eventually we break out to new highs. Now, although having a downside move here is a possibility, do bear in mind that the bigger picture here overall is still bullish. All right, so even if you're on the trading on the short side, do be very light on your heels when you're on the short side, because we could quite easily turn to the upside very quickly on any news, especially with the US and Iran possibly reaching a deal. All right. All right. Let's move to currencies now. So we've got the dollar yen. Okay. So with the dollar yen, picture is quite similar. We have a resistance here, 160.524. The current setup does indicate there is a leg higher here into the blue line resistance that is missing before either a potential sell down back towards this 155.481 level that could overshoot to the 154.833 level. But again, remains to be seen how this will move, what the Fed chair, the new Fed chair, says in the upcoming days, the upcoming FOMC meetings, the dot plot, so on and so forth. Again, you will need a tremendous amount of momentum to break the 160 half resistance to the upside. All right, and if this works, then of course we could see dollar yen continue to the upside and a stronger US dollar overall. Now, in line with the dollar yen, currency that is at a historical low or near historical low is the dollar Swiss. All right. So if we look at the dollar Swiss chart, okay, we can see that this has very recently, all right, very, very recently tested a historical low, all right, at the 0.6 level, okay, and has come off in a big way, tested a high here, all right, in the 80s, 0.80427, almost 80 half, all right, before coming off. Now, this does look very much like a consolidation pattern where it comes off and a potential inverse head and shoulders that could push it up against this resistance line at 80.10 again, before pushing up towards the ultimate target on the 82 side. So this is a chart worth watching and keeping, close by, especially with any news that comes out of Europe or any negative news regarding the euro, given the correlation of the Swiss franc with the euro. All right. Okay, cool. Let's move to gold. All right. In line with a strong dollar theme, especially now, given inflation is still pretty hot in the U.S. and the expectation or the pullback of expectation of rate cuts. We see gold, all right, here experienced a huge sell-off, all right, in the early period of March, and has failed to recover any of those losses into April and into May. Carrying into May, especially weak. Probabilities are you see a test of the 4380 level to the downside before any meaningful bounce to the upside. If 4380 gives, all right, we could see substantial downside for gold into levels below 4,000. So 4380, a level to look at if you want to attempt longs. I wouldn't attempt longs until I see 4380. Where the short thesis would be invalidated, where bears would be invalidated would be the 4707 level. All right, so till that level breaks, I would not be looking for longs in gold. All right, so this is in line with the dollar, strong dollar theme, especially stronger dollar Swiss, and likely stronger dollar yen, or one more leg up in the dollar yen. All right. Finally, stocks. We will be looking at a stock that has been in a downtrend for over a year, ServiceNow. All right. Again, this is a large cap stock, but has very recently broken out very aggressively from a very long-term downtrend that is over 12 months long, as you can see here. All right. I am expecting this to push back up towards the 120s first, which you would find the resistance levels right about here, 124. All right. But the 120, 125 level, and then followed by the 130s. This is a very oversold stock, and this is a very good company in terms of its moat. So do expect ServiceNow to really start to push higher in the coming days. But again, the whole software sector and the overhang of AI on the software sector continues. So do be cautious if you're trading on the long side. The leverage ETF is now L, but if you're trading the large cap on leverage, now is a setup where the bias will be on the long side. All right, with that, very short market coverage. Just 5 items to look at. We are looking at a Nasdaq that's struggling a bit, so watch for potential downside in the coming week. Stronger dollar yen, or one leg up in the dollar yen. For the upside, the dollar Swiss, leg down in gold, and a move up in the ServiceNow side, which seems contradictory to the Nasdaq call. But bear in mind that software has had a bit of a negative correlation to the broader market because many funds have been long AI and shorting software. All right. So with that, we are done for this week. Wish you guys all the best in the upcoming week.